Football's a funny old game, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea starting front three from the Champions League final back in 2021, which of course they went on to win, beating Man City. If you told me or any other Chelsea fan that our starting front three would be playing for United, Arsenal and Tottenham respectively, I would have laughed you out of town, but here we are. Kai Havertz is moseyed on down to North London, or should I say up. Mason Mount apparently still plays for Manchester United. Well, you know, one interesting development we'll have to see. Or how is Mason Mount? Anyway, look, we're not talking about Mason Mount at United, but that's just still a strange one. Of course, he's been injured. But Timo Werner, moving to Tottenham. We've got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. And Chelsea fans across the social media that I've been perusing, X, formerly known as Twitter, seen on Instagram, Chelsea fans really annoyed at Timo Werner for going to Tottenham. I have an opinion on this. I want to get into it in just a moment, but also just talk about the move itself, because it's a hot story. Hot dog. It's a story. Yes, daily content back here on Football Yannick, this YouTube channel, speaking about the beautiful game and all its wonderful big stories. If you are interested in said stories, then do subscribe to this channel, man. You are most welcome. You really are. So do subscribe and hit the bell if you choose to subscribe. Yeah, Timo Werner, man, this is a big story. He's going on a 6-month loan to Tottenham with an option to buy. Werner, right? He was hot prop when Chelsea bought him back in 2020-2021 season. We bought him for 53 million euros, 47 million pounds, I think, about 47 million pounds. Bearing in mind, like, he was a wanted player, Timo Werner, scoring a lot of goals for Leipzig, sort of playing in a two-striker system. He was the sort of little man off a big man, running in behind in that left channel. Scored a lot of goals. Bayern Munich wanted him. It looked like the deal was done the season before Chelsea bought him. And he was actually really annoyed with Bayern Munich. Raphael Honigstein of The Athletic has spoken about the story. Werner thought the deal was done. He told his RB Leipzig teammates that the move was done. He's going to Chelsea. And then it didn't go through, and he played another season at Leipzig, and he was really upset with Bayern. And then Chelsea come along, Frank Lampard wants to sign him, and I think it's a release clause of £47.5 million. But he'd scored a lot of goals at that point, and we were all terribly excited. Of course, we still had Tammy Abraham, but it did look like he was coming in to play instead of Tammy Abraham down the middle rather than the left. Of course, you've got people like Hudson-Odoi signing new deals for Frank Lampard. We've got Kai Havertz when people are wondering if he's playing out wide. You know, lots of players basically coming in there. And yeah, look, he was always offside. He didn't really score many goals, but he did contribute to Chelsea doing okay under Thomas Tuchel, really. I mean, Lampard couldn't get the most out of him, but he was always a very hard worker. The Chelsea fans loved him. Now, this is maybe why they're a little bit emotional now. They sang his song all the time, yeah, he'd never stop running, and he was a trier. Everyone loves a trier. He wasn't aggressive, he wasn't a fighter with the opposition, but he'd just always get up and keep running, and always keep working. And even in that Champions League final, of course, Mason Mount and Kai Havertz combined for that goal. But, you know, he did important work. He scored against Real Madrid. He, like, pulled defences apart and was quite selfless. Even though we bought him as... Look, make no bones about it, mate. We bought him to be a goal scorer. You know, Tammy Abraham had scored 15 non-penalty Premier League goals, which in hindsight was very good. But we kind of bought Werner in the same way as we bought Nkunku, that he's a sort of versatile attacker that's a good finisher, in theory. Of course, Nkunku is a lot more technically gifted than Werner. But he comes to Chelsea, he has a few high-profile misses, he was offside, and he's, but the Chelsea fans love him, everyone else took the mick out of him, and here we are. I've seen expressions, the Tottenham content creator, be very honest, because you're clearly one of the opposition fans that used to take the mick out of this guy all the time, saying, if we get this Chelsea version, then he's worried. But I think he's going to be an okay signing. So let's talk about why he could be a smart signing for Tottenham. And then let's talk about why, if the Chelsea fans are right to be upset about him going to Tottenham. Okay? So firstly, why is Werner wanting to go? I'm looking at his market value now. Since he signed for Chelsea, really, it plummeted. So it's just gone down since he signed for Chelsea, which is understandable because everyone thought he was going to score a lot of goals. His highest market value was this summer before we bought him at 80 million euros, a transfer mark saying. Anyway, he's not played at all really at this season. He's had, it looks like 2 starts. He's played 200 minutes in the Bundesliga and he scored 2 goals, which ain't bad, by the way. Like, you know, a goal per 100 minutes is pretty darn good. He's clearly not fancied. I don't know the full context of the situation. I'm trying to look for injuries, but if you click on RB Leipzig, I'm looking on who scored here. Like, the most minutes played is the goalkeeper, Blaswich, unsurprisingly, and then David Raum, like, just behind him, by the way. But out of the 21 players that have played for Leipzig this season, Timo Werner is 18th. 18th. There's only 3 players that have played less than him. And this is Timo Werner. He went back to RB Leipzig to be like the boy again and score loads of goals for a club he was comfortable at. And there is allegedly some controversial stories that I'm not saying happened, that may or may not have happened with Thomas Tuchel. And he wanted to leave Chelsea. And he was like, all right, just go back to Leipzig. No worries, mate. You know, just get me out of here. And he goes back to Leipzig, and it just doesn't work out, I guess, right? Like, which is kind of sad. I want to sort of nail my colours to the mast here. I like Timo Werner. I think he's like a good guy. He's quite funny. He's got a good work ethic. He's just not a knobber. He's just not a dickhead, which is massive in football these days, apparently, because most of them like can be. So why did Tottenham want him? Well, I think first and foremost, immediately, Son has gone off to play for South Korea. He plays on the left-hand side as a fast transitional player attacker. So immediately, you bring in Timo Werner for a loan. He knows the Premier League. He knows how to play in the Premier League. He speaks perfect English, and he plays in that same channel as Son, runs down the left, and in theory can score you a goal. In theory. Ange apparently wants him, the Tottenham manager, Ange Postecoglou, and it's just an interesting situation, I think. I kind of see it. It kind of makes sense. Apparently, Man United were looking at him, like all the, again to cite social media, which isn't always the best thing to be doing, but here we are. Lots of fans didn't want him. United fans didn't want him. I spoke to a couple of my friends who support Man United, and they were like, "Nah, don't fancy that at all." And then he's going to Tottenham. I wonder if he goes to Tottenham as well, those same United fans will be like, oh, we should have got him. It's another Cody Gakpo or whatever, where they look like they had him and then they didn't. Not that Cody Gakpo would be the solution to Manchester United's problems, by the way. I was going to swear then. Who knows what that could be, the solution to Man United's problems. But he's going to Tottenham. I think it's a 6 months loan with an option to buy rather than an obligation, and he'll fill in for Son. I think generally they can be quite short on options. Richarlison blows hot and cold. Brennan Johnson's still settling. Kulusevski's played, I think, as a number 10 sometimes as well, so they probably need that wide attacker. Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. Right, now Timo Werner himself, you can understand, like we said, why you want to go. He be comfortable in London. He'll see it as, go spring and summer back in London. He speaks English. I think, even if he wasn't happy at Chelsea towards the end, he probably quite likes London. Maybe he can go and meet up with Kai Havertz again. Who knows? Maybe he'll hang out with other Chelsea, because I think he's still got mates in England. I think, who knows? Maybe he'll hang out with Reece James. Although I'll put a pin in that for the moment. The Chelsea captain and Reece James, who's not playing at the moment, if he goes to hang around with some Tottenham players, the aesthetic might not look very good, especially as a lot of Chelsea fans are upset with Timo. Now, should we be upset with Timo Werner for going to Tottenham? Absolutely not. I know that I friggin' hate Tottenham, as all Chelsea fans do. I mean, I respect what they're doing. I think the manager's great, but in the same way Tottenham fans don't like Chelsea fans, is part of what you sign up for in the theatrical drama of football. It just is what it is. You know, it would be boring if we all like loved each other up. He owes nothing to Chelsea. You know, Mason Mount going to Man United is more of a betrayal than, and that's Man United, you know, up north, than Timo Werner going to Tottenham, because Mason Mount was supposed to represent Chelsea. Timo Werner, and I said the exact same thing about Kai Havertz to Arsenal. They both spent 2 years at Chelsea, and they didn't grow up Chelsea fans wishing to play for Chelsea. They're both like professional footballers that were on really good veins of form, and they saw an opportunity to join a bit to basically get a new job, a good big job. They both came to Chelsea. They tried. They they definitely had success, because in those 2 years they won the Champions League, and then of course the Club World Cup and Super Cup, which will represent memories. I think they qualified top 4 and got to a cup final, at least one cup final. I think, yeah, one cup final. Anyway, as in like domestic. Of course, the FA Cup final we lost to Leicester just before the Champions League. Anyway. They enjoyed it. They played for the fans. They like how the fans sung songs about them. But they're not like, they haven't nailed their colours to the Chelsea mast for 2 years of a time that was just up and down and hectic and all over the gaff. And, friggin', was it even the pandemic as well? Yeah, the pandemic time as well. So, less connectivity with the fans and new ownership, sanctions. And, Kai Havertz, saw the way things are going at Chelsea, had a massive, Arsenal playing well. They offered him massive wages and a fresh deal, so a 2 years extension on what his current deal was. Granted, he was on big wages at Chelsea. I think he's on even bigger wages at Arsenal, but with an extra 2 years security. Yeah, go and get the bag, bro. You don't owe anything to Chelsea. Certainly not like, oh, I played 2 years for Chelsea, so now I'm going to turn down all these big opportunities, and it's not like Chelsea are flying high. We're like a circus. Same with Timo Werner, man. Look, speaking of Tottenham, a lot of these same people, by the way, on social media will be like giving Timo grief, will be loving up Jose Mourinho. He's our GOAT and all this kind of stuff. Jose Mourinho said he would never manage Tottenham. He is a Chelsea legend. He is. He nailed his colours to the mast and said to Chelsea fans, I would never manage Tottenham. He just went to go manage Tottenham. He managed Tottenham. It's like Eden Hazard or Frank Lampard or JT going to play for Tottenham. That's that. Timo Werner is totally fine. So I think it's silly that people are talking about it. Anyway, I wanted to speak about that. Massive transfer. I'm so excited to see how it goes, just from a neutral curiosity point. I don't want Tottenham to do well, but I take no pleasure in watching Timo Werner go there and fail. But let him do what he wants, bro. Do you know what I mean? I think you need a recalibration if you see this as some kind of big betrayal. My opinion only. Football is a game of opinions. Let me know what you think. Thank you for subscribing to Football Yak, and I hope to see you guys back here and hopefully enjoying some opinion pieces from me. All right, peace.